a new gacha game about pirates, but they're actually not pirates. They're waifus on a ship, but they're nothing to do with pirates at all. That's Demian Saga, and honestly, it's not too bad actually. I went into this game thinking it was gonna be like a really bad, really sleeper gacha game, and honestly, I kind of enjoyed this game, and I don't know why I did. So yeah, I wrote down what I liked, what I didn't like about this game, but this game sucked me in and made me want to keep playing the game, and for no reason at all. This game doesn't really do anything like that special compared to other gacha games you see, but overall, it was a really good experience for me. So let's go ahead and talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and should you play this game? So for me, Demian Saga is like an above average AFK game, and when I say that, I'm comparing it to other like AFK type games like Heigen L, Eversoul, the Street Fighter AFK game, AFK Arena, and games like that. So that's what we're comparing it to, because that's what I feel like this game mostly is. And the reason I put it into that AFK category is just because of this feature right here. Basically, you get AFK auto combat rewards after a certain amount of time. And also, as far as the character levels and stuff like that go, it very heavily relies off of this EXP and stuff that you get from the game to actually level them up. You need dupes to actually push their max level even higher than it actually is. So, you know, if you have like an SR character, you can only bring them up to a certain amount of level until you pull dupes for them, turn them into SSR, and then you can push their level even higher than that. So yeah, that's why I'm describing this game as an AFK game. One of the reasons that actually really turned me off from this game when I first started playing it is how the chibis looked. The chibis to me do not look that good. I don't like how the chibis look. The chibis just all look kind of scuffed. But as far as the art goes for the characters, like the actual card art, they actually look pretty good. Like, I mean, all the character art here looks really good for all the characters. Hey, yo, Ganyu, she giving us freeze damage too. But then you just switch it over to chibi form and it just looks kind of scuffed. Like, there's just not much detail put into like the actual chibi designs of these characters. And I kind of wish they maybe put more design into these characters or more detail into these characters, because it just looks kind of scuffed when you're in battle with them. And also when they're talking too, it does look scuffed. But as far as things that I like in this game, there's a lot of quality of life stuff in this game that I really liked, especially the auto battle system. The auto battle and system in this game is pretty similar to that of like Heigen Airthel, but it doesn't restrict your auto combat to just one mode in the game. For this, you can auto combat just about anywhere in the game, which I found to be really good. So if you want to auto battle through the story, you can auto battle through the story. It'll automatically put you through each and every stage of the game. It'll keep going until you lose or get to the end of the chapter. All you have to do is click next chapter and it'll keep going through that. So auto battle is really good there. Also, as far as like your tower and stuff goes too, you can auto battle through every floor of the tower. You can do 10 stages a day of this, so you can auto battle all 10 stages if you want. But yeah, the main point I'm trying to make here, you can auto battle just about through everything, so it makes the game really easy to play. You don't have to check on the game that much. Now if you lose, of course, that is the case, but normally you don't have to check on the game that much. You just let it go do its thing, and yeah, it's pretty easy. As far as some more quality of life stuff, they have the character link system, which basically what that does is you can take a character, you can link it up to another character, and it'll bring that level and rarity and everything like that up to that character. And also with linking characters, it gives you these link points which you can use to buy more characters from the shop, which I think is pretty cool. So it kind of encourages you to link some of these characters up, and you will need to link these characters up, because getting resources in this game is a real big problem. Not necessarily the mana, but the skill powders and gold in this game. Whoo! It's bad. It's bad. Resource gathering in this game is that shit is different. Now, they do have a mode in the game called the Fractured Night, which allows you to kind of alleviate this. Basically, you just go through, complete these challenges. It gives you gold, it gives you skill powders, and it also gives you mana, whatever this stuff is called as well. You can get all of this stuff through here. The gold's a bit easier to alleviate because you can get so much of it from this event, but the skill powders, ooh, the skill powders are really hard to get, and it'll probably take you a couple days to level up characters just off the skill powders alone. So my recommendation is maybe level up 3 characters to max level, and then use the link system to actually link other characters, other level 0 characters to them, so you can actually make the most use out of your mana, and actually you'll probably have an easier time playing this game if you do that. But while we're on the topic of content, let's go ahead and talk about all the content this game has to offer. Of course, you have your main story mode. Your main story mode is, you know, your basic box standard. You have 10 stages, you go through it, which I actually kind of find to be a little bit better than like Eversoul or Heigen, where you have 50-60 stages to go through. Now, if you could auto run those stages in each one of those games, it would be a lot easier, but unfortunately for both of those games, it's very hard to actually go through and auto run all of the stages. Heigen is the exception. Heigen, you can auto run it through it, but as far as like AFK Arena and Eversouls, you can't do that. You have to manually go and press to do the next stage every single time. Now, those games could have changed since the last time I played them, but when I played Eversouls, that was not the case. Now, as far as like events and stuff goes, you have your basic tower where you have to climb the tower. This is pretty similar to all other AFK games. Each time the level of the tower increases means the harder the enemies you're going to get, but with this you can only do it 10 times per day, so it kind of content locks people out from doing everything in one day, which actually I don't think is that bad of an idea, because this does push the content for people to actually play this game a little bit longer than people normally would, because people normally would go through and try to grind everything in one day, and this kind of content locks you for that. Secondly, you have this thing called the treasure map, and basically what the treasure map is you collect these map fragments, and then for each of the map fragments you obtain, you can go through and do these levels, and you get shards for epic level characters and some rewards and stuff like that. And as far as how you get these map fragments, you normally get them from your guild and stuff like that, so if you're in a guild, then yeah, you go through it. They also have this report map as well, and basically what this report map does is you go through certain levels with these set characters here, and you'll beat it, you'll get some rapport for your characters, you'll get some extra rewards on top of that, but you have to beat this mode with the characters of that rapport squad. Then you have a funky little game mode here called Pirate Dice, and basically what Pirate Dice is, you roll this dice, you have to hit certain squares are battle squares, and other squares give you like gold, take away gold, they give your characters buffs and stuff like that. But the basic premise is you collect gold, you upgrade what your whole team will do, then you fight bosses, and then you just try to go as far as you can go into this. For this, it's going to give you more bombs for the Kraken weekly event, which basically you just launch bombs at a Kraken and you get rewards based off of that. As we said before, you have the Fractured Night event, which basically gives you resources for all your characters. Then of course you have your arena mode, which arena mode is fighting online PvP based game mode. And then finally in the event tab, you have your expeditions, which basically you send your characters every day to collect rewards and bring them back to you. Pretty simple, it's like daily commissions. But the fun doesn't stop there. Once you join a guild, there's actually 3 things you can do within a guild. One of which is not unlocked yet, which is Invasion, which we'll see in a couple days when it actually launches. The other 2 things in here is actually your Union Boss and Raid Boss. Basically what this Union Boss is very similar to what the boss is in AFK Arena, where the boss has multiple health bars. You just do as much damage as you can to the boss, and you pog out, crack out of your mind, and try to just take the boss down as low as possible. Then you get rewards based off of this, so you'll get like chests with equipment and everything like that in it, and level ups for your armor and stuff like that. And then these raid bosses, basically your whole squad attacks a boss and tries to bring them down in health to kill the bosses, and based off the amount of time you kill the bosses, it depends on the rewards you get. And this is something I really think screwed Eversouls over with, is Eversouls didn't release this in time for the game. They didn't release guild bosses till a month in, and the content got really dry really quick with Eversouls, just because their update schedule was not good. And that is something I can see affecting this game in the future. If they don't release too much content for the game, or new and refreshing content to this game, I think the game might not survive that long. I think a great example to look at as far as like content being released for a game that really like makes the game feel fresh is AFK Arena. AFK Arena is still going pretty strong, and they release like a bunch of different content, like a bunch of different little mini games you can play and stuff like that. And that's what I kind of hope this game follows. And I think most AFK games should follow that trend of just having like a bunch of like random ass games inside the game itself, just to kind of break away from all of the content you're already given in the game. Because overall, right, this game is not a very in-depth game. You don't really have to get into the nitty-gritty of the content in this game. You don't have to get into the weeds of this game. It's a very simple game. So if you're looking for just a simple game to play every day that's really easy to play, this could be the game for you. Like I said, this game is really easy to play, and I think that's what it really attracted me in, is I didn't have to focus much of my time on it. I kind of just let it do my thing while I was watching like a YouTube video or something, and when I needed to pay attention to it, I paid attention to it. Also, something else I liked about this game is the actual team building for this game. The team building actually is not that bad. So what I noticed as far as the team building goes is, so as far as like the national chemistry goes, as you can see, we have a score of 12, which increases our attack by 2%, increases our HP by 2%, and then we have our personality chemistry, which is based off of each character's personality, and this derives some extra buffs like penetrate physical defense and resist physical penetration, and then you have your formation effects too. So the team building in this game is actually a bit deeper than what you see in other games, because you have a lot more factors to actually look at and worry about as far as when you're building a team for higher level stages or harder stages in general. So talking about some of the things that I didn't like about this game, or were pretty basic in this game, was actually the character building itself. All you have is really your armor and equipment. You have your card here you can equip to each character, and then you have the soul gear, which you get after you get your character to UR grade. You have your skills, which your skills are just really derived from your level, kind of like Eversoul is. And then you have your talents, and these talents are just something you level up along the way. There's not much variety with the talents, but yeah, it's all right. Like it's a like, I'm only putting this as like a downside to the game just because I played Hegan, and Hegan's character building was a lot better than this, I would say, just because you could change the actual skills that they could use in the game, and it changed up the gameplay quite a bit. And also something that I don't like with these games as well, which is kind of like just a thing with AFK games, is the further and deeper you get into the game, the more dupes and the more you have to summon to actually progress through the game, because you'll actually hit a certain point in the game where you can't progress any further unless you have dupes, because you can't level up your characters, which means you can't beat the stages in the game because your characters aren't leveled up. So that's another con that I have, but that's just pretty inherent in the nature of AFK games. But overall, I'd probably give this game a 7 out of 10. It's not that bad to play. It's really easy to play, like I said. So if like you're on like the bus or whatever you do, I don't know, if you just need something, some serotonin in your brain, I know Zoomer brains, they can't keep their attention spans for shit. So you know, play this game. You just put on auto and let it go through and see all the pretty flashes and lights and colors, and you don't have to do much, and it'll pew in your brain, you know what I mean? Also, another thing as far as playing this game, I think for most players, people are probably going to play this for maybe 2 or 3 weeks until Honkai Star Rail comes out and switch over to that. I think this game's lifespan for most players, not to say all of them, is probably around 2 to 3 weeks with this game. Now if they release really good content, I can see the game surviving for a bit longer, but I think most of the player base will move on in about 2 to 3 weeks after they've gotten tired of the game and tired of the AFK loop and stuff like that, but who knows, prove me wrong maybe. Anyways guys, that's really gonna do it for today's video. Hope everyone enjoyed, and yeah guys, I will see everyone in the next one. Hope everyone enjoyed today's video. If you didn't, tell me in the comments below. Anyways, also subscribe too if you want to see more content on this game or any other gacha game coming out. I plan on doing a lot more content on Black Clover and Honkai Star Rail when they come out, but yeah, so maybe subscribe. Anyways, bye guys, see you later, bye bye!